Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you What If Izuna Uchiha Was Naruto Ancestor Part 40. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was from the two greatest clans, and enjoy that guys. I also post a new episode of What If Naruto Was Neglected by Everyone, so go ahead and enjoy it as well guys. And also, I post a new episode of What If Naruto Was Banished and gathered all the Jinjulkis on this channel, so go ahead and check out that and enjoy as well guys. And also remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support, and yeah, without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails.
So, the last part we left off, Naruto arrived to the Peace Treaty. He already knew that this was a sabotage, a setup. As Sasuke went off with Sakura, as Naruto went off with Kunai to talk. As Naruto asked when is she planning on killing him, as she was at a loss, as she couldn't believe he knew, but why would he come here then? As Naruto then started to tell her about the Reich, as he started to tell her about the positions, about what the Reich has to do for the world. The kids don't graduate until they become 17, until they're able to fully defend themselves. And he doesn't want to see any mindless kids going around, attacking and killing. He doesn't want a world like that. They have sponsorships for people who are low on funds, and they will not let anyone out to suffer. They are not like any other village, they are here for their own. As Naruto gave a compelling speech, as Kunai couldn't believe he did all of this. So, this is what the Reich was truly like. As she saw that it wasn't Naruto who was in the wrong, he was trying to change this world even though he has done some bad things. Her heart, as she realized she loved him too much to ever let him die like this. Meanwhile with Sakura and Sasuke, as Sakura was angry at Sasuke, as he was talking so cold to her, until he finally break down and lose all of his guards, as he told her that he loved her back then. As Sakura couldn't believe it after hearing that she smashed her lips against his, as he kissed her back as he was happy. As Naruto talked to Kunai as he begged her to believe in him, as Kunai watched him, as she couldn't believe it but she switched over to his side. As she told him that yes, she would believe in him. The group then went outside as they were suddenly attacked. As Naruto stood his guard there, as Jiraiya and all the others arrived. As Naruto saw Anko, as he told her that Kunai is on his side now and to come. As Anko didn't know what to do at first. As Naruto told her this is their last chance, come now. As Anko quickly shunned Shin away and came over to Naruto's side. As Kunai was happy that she came. As the Raikage appeared with thousands of his ninjas, but Naruto SS guard appeared his strongest guards. As they started a battle, as Naruto created a lot of wood clones that created wood clones to help in the battle. As Naruto army started to rage on, as Kunai decided to take on the other Kages, as Naruto went for the Raikage and the two Jinjulkis, the 8-tail and the 2-tail, as they started their battle, as B turned into his octopus form, as both him and Naruto blast multiple Biju bomb as they smash into each other. As the both of them came out of that a bit scathed as B was healing, as Naruto body was healing as well, as the both of them got a bit of damage in that assault, as Naruto faced off against Yujito but he knocked her away, as she entered her 2-tail state, as Raikage appeared lightning cackling around him, as Naruto asked Kurama if he's ready, as Kurama said yes. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can enjoy your cosplay and check it out for yourself, so let's start this new episode. We begin this episode with Haku as he ran through the forest, with 4,000 Reich soldiers behind her. After watching what happened on the TV, it made her heart stop, with the place in shambles and the forest burning. She shouldn't have let him go. She shouldn't let him leave, she should have told him. But just because he wanted a peaceful world. As she remembered a conversation they had, Naruto stepped out of the shower as he was only wearing a towel, as he saw his wife writing something in her book. He walked up to her as he started to kiss her on the neck, as she then stopped him with a laugh, as that made Naruto disappointed, as he made his feelings clear with a cute pout. "You're such a baby," said Haku. "Well, baby needs attention," Naruto said. "Later, right now I need to work," she said. His curiosity get the better of him as he placed his chin on her shoulder and tried to get the book that she was holding. But she smacked away his hand as she closed the book, as he saw a faint blush on her cheeks. That was weird. "Just tell me what it is, you know I'm not going to stop," she said. "Fine, it's a book, jeez. Nobody get privacy these days," she said. "What about?" Naruto asked, with an innocent smile on his face. "A story," she said, in a rather shy tone. "Oh, I didn't know you like writing. It's a good hobby," Naruto said, as she looked up at him and gave him a smile. "Do you like writing too? Have you read something before? Because I would like to read it," Haku said. That made him blush. "The only thing I mostly write is a report, root. Well, you know what? It doesn't matter," Naruto said. "I'm too dumb to ever write a story," he joked. Haku got up as she wrapped her arms around him, as he did the same. "Haku, please finish your story." As she noticed something in his voice, he was almost pleading. "Are you okay?" she asked. He didn't answer her at first, as he walked over to his wardrobe, as he opened up a secret compartment which she didn't even know that was there, as he pulled out a book and handed it to her. As she opened it to see beautiful pictures, they were so real, she could hardly call it a sketch. "Sai never finished his story," Naruto said sadly. She sensed the pain in his voice. Even after all these years, he missed the friend who gave his life for him. To think that he's still holding on to that. He truly cared about his friend. As she looked through the pictures, they were of him, Sai, and Shin en route. "Have you ever tried to finish it?" asked Haku. "No," Naruto said. "All we can do is live while we endure loss." As he started to walk away, but he then stopped as he gained back his smile on his face. "Whatever you're writing, make sure your main character is not like me. Or worse, make sure I'm not the lead of your story." "Huh? You think everything's about you?" she said. "Good, because if you were to write a story with me in the lead role, it would be a tragedy," he said. End of flashback. She clenched her fist as tears slipped from her eyes. She didn't understand those words back then, as she dismissed it as one of his silly jokes. She cursed herself for lying to him that day, for not telling him that it was a story about him she was writing. Looking back now, she understands that he always knew that his end would be a tragedy, seeing that his beginning was a tragedy as well. From the day he was born, this always been a tragedy, with a few happy moments mixed. A bittersweet story. As she ran as fast as her legs could take her, she wanted to tell him that both of them had something to live for now. She couldn't think anymore, so she channeled all her emotions and run. "I'm coming, Naruto. Hang in there," she said. Meanwhile, Naruto had a smile on his face. Most people would think that he was insane, seeing that the two gigantic Bijus were in front of him, ready to rip him to shreds. "Since you have already shown me your true power, then I shall also give you a taste of mine," Naruto said as he slammed his hands together, as the reddish-orange glow started to expand around him with the 9-tailed tentacles on his back. As right in front of Raikage's eyes, the figure of the 9-tail came to life. As the Raikage saw Naruto Mangekyou activate and spin. As the Kyuubi body started to get covered the armor plating of Susanoo and Mokiton, making the creature look even more scary. "I am the Kyuubi Jinchuriki and today I will show you the consequences of going up against the Reich," Naruto said. As the fox let out a roar that sent both the Nibi and the 8-tails flying away, as the both of them smashed into the ground, as he pushed them off with such ease. As A coughed up blood as he also smashed into the ground, he looked back as he watched in shock as the 9-tails raised up into the sky, and on each of them there was a tail beast bomb. Divine Holocaust. The Raikage had seen many things in life, but nothing could stop this moment of fear he felt, as he knew it was time. He was going to die here, as he saw the 9 tail beast bombs rushing towards him. The Hakubi was still recovering and trying to get back to his feet. Having so many legs messed with his ability to fight on land. But the Nibi jumped in between with a Biju bomb of her own. As an extremely bright light made everyone blind as they could only hear explosion and the crying of a cat. When the dust settled and the Raikage could see clearly, he froze again. The Nibi laid motionless on the ground, her entire body covered in blood and flesh. Just the mere sight of the state that she was in made A want to puke his guts out. Hakubi went close as he nudged her to get some response, but none came. They saw the Kyuubi form Naruto walking towards them. Rage coursed through the Raikage's body along with lightning as he flashed towards the beast. Lariat, he said, as he poured every amount of his chakra into this attack, as he hit the fox directly into the chest. His eyes widened when his attack didn't make the fox fly. Instead, he created a small dent which just healed up as well. In a flash, a tail grabbed him and pulled him close as he stared into the eyes of the fox. "This is your end," Naruto said, as the fox tail started to squeeze as it burst his body as a shower of blood rained down, signifying the end of the Raikage. And at the very next second, the gigantic Hakubi leapt towards the Kyuubi with a bloodthirsty battle cry. Meanwhile, Leaf Whirlwind, as both Lee and Guy was battling each other. Both were on the opposite sides, yet the both of them had smiles on their faces of joy. Many fighters nearby nearly got a heart attack when those two did a sunset hug, as they couldn't understand where the hell did that sunset come from, and then it vanished after they stopped hugging. "You have grown stronger, my student," Guy said, as he aimed a punch at Lee's chest. "Thank you, Guy-sensei. You're just the same as I can remember," said Lee happily as he dodged a punch that would have cracked his ribs. As Guy looked at Lee, he remembered what happened when he thought that he was crippled, as he thought it was all his fault. Well, it was his fault for pushing Lee so hard. Leaf, great flash, as Lee brought a kick up, and instead of dodging, Guy stood there as it hit him right in the head, knocking him down. "Guy-sensei," Lee said as he rushed towards his bleeding teacher. "Hey, dumbass, he's the enemy," said Suigetsu as he sliced through two Kumo Anvu. Lee hesitated. Even though he was worried about his teacher, he knew that Guy-sensei was dangerous. One slip and Guy would end him right there, so he stopped. Guy got back to his feet as he looked at his student with a proud smile. "So you've become a warrior too," Guy said, seriously. "Can't you surrender, sensei? Naruto is a good person," Lee requested, as he gave his teacher a smile. "I know, Lee, but he's my enemy, just as you're my enemy now. I cannot break the oath I have took as a Konoha shinobi, and I will fulfill them to my last breath. But I'm happy for you," Guy said. "Sensei," said Lee in shock, as a sad smile came on Guy's face. "Maybe it's for the best that you join Naruto. After all, he did get you back on your feet. But the fact that Naruto healed you, even knowing the risks, shows that he's a good person. He's a far better man than me. Lee, I just want you to know, I am sorry for not being a good teacher to you," Guy said. Leaf Gale, as Lee delivered a powerful kick to Guy's chest and finished it off with a spinning kick, knocking Guy into the ground. When Guy vision cleared, he looked up at Lee as he saw fire in Lee's eyes. "This is the power my teacher gave me. In the past, I used it for my own personal glory, and it led to my downfall, but now, I will use it to protect the Reich, because it's a future I desire and a home that I have sworn to protect to my last breath," Lee said, as tears came in his eyes, as tears also came in Guy's eyes. "I don't blame you, Guy-sensei, for me becoming a cripple in the past. It was my own fault. Nothing more, nothing less. Now show me your youthful spirit and fight," Lee said, as Lee saw the light return in Guy's eyes, as Guy took a fighting pose. "I'm proud of you, Lee," he said. Meanwhile, black lightning arrows. Sasuke flipped as he dodged black lightning arrows that nearly pierced through him. Regaining his balance, he knocked away a few Kumo Genins, kids who were barely in their teens. As the kids got up as they rushed towards him, slash slash slash. Darui watched in shock as his attack failed to kill Sasuke, but not only that, Sasuke beheaded the Thunder Cloud unit. The poor kids have been running around the battlefield, supplying and helping here and there, and Sasuke beheaded all of them without a second thought. And now watching their heads sail in the air, it brought tears to his eyes. They were just kids and Sasuke... "You monster," Darui said, as he saw sadness and anger in Sasuke's eyes. "No, you're the monsters. We gave you a chance for peace, but you blew it. You call me a monster, yet you allow 12-year-olds to run on the battlefield that aren't even fully grown yet. You are the monsters. Their deaths are on your head," Sasuke shouted back. Darui couldn't say anything else, as you remember, him and Raikage was the one who ordered the kids to get launched in the war. And that was when he heard two sounds. The first was the ear-piercing cry of the Raikage. It was so horrible it sent a shiver down his spine. Whatever could make the Raikage react like this? He was then shocked as he saw 4,000 Reich soldiers. They were playing their battle drums. As he was looking at them in shock, leading the charge was the Empress herself, and the look in her eyes screamed for blood. "Butcher them all," said Haku. Now outnumbered and outgunned, the Kumo forces were getting surrounded. The enemy had put fresh troops on the ground, while their own force was tired and weak. Darui quickly raised his hand as he fired red smoke in the air. "Retreat!" he screamed. But many of them were gunned down by Reich ninjas who were in the mountains with arrows. The Reich army quickly surrounded the Kumo army. A few hundreds escaped, and a few officers, but the rest were surrounded. And what after that was a massacre. Every child, woman, man that were holding a weapon was butchered. They were sliced into little pieces as Sasuke saw Haku tear a man in half. Kunai ran through the battlefield. Amongst a sea of retreating soldiers, she was running around. Most of the resistant fighters didn't even know of her shift in loyalty, so they gave her a wide berth, but that was a big mistake since the Sound 4 and Gurren killed everyone behind her. She had already sent Sakura and Tsunade to heal the wounded, while Anko insisted to find Kakashi. Surprisingly, Jiraiya and the other Kages made a hasty retreat when the signal was given. But then again, when Haku arrived with that army, as she could only hope that any of Naruto's comrades told her his wife about her surrender. She didn't want to fight his soldiers, much less his wife, as that last thought left a bitter taste in her heart, as she realized for the first time there was another woman in Naruto's life. He was married. But she couldn't think about that right now. So she simply ran to the area where the monstrous fight was taking place, as tremors got heavier the moment she got closer. "Hang in there, Naruto," she thought. With Naruto, for a brief second, the only thing he saw was a furious, gigantic octopus launching at him. Before he could blink, a punch impacted with the armor of the face, as it cracked, as he smashed into a mountain, obliterating it completely. As he looked down, the Susanoo, along with Mokitan, has consumed most of the damage. Tail Beast Bomb! A heavily wounded Nibi launched a Tail Beast Bomb that hit him head on, as it was a massive flash of light. As when the light died down, the fox was bleeding heavily, as the armor of the Susanoo was reforming though. Looking closer, they saw Naruto inside, as he was bleeding heavily, blood all over his body. As they saw Shino with a lot of bugs coming from his arms. Around him was at least 200 heavily skilled Anvu Black Ops. "I have overloaded his metabolism with my insects. They are destroying his cell in a rapid pace. Take him down now," Shino ordered. "Yes, Captain," the Anvu said, as Yujeo and her Anvus quickly surrounded the struggling fox from all sides as they went through hand sign, Earth Style, Earthquake Jutsu, Earth Style, Stone Catapult Jutsu. As the earth shook violently, as the Haxabi and Nibi grabbed each other for support, preventing their fall. The Kumoshin Julkis had to hand it to those Black Ops. Either they were insane, or they were just extremely courageous. The fox fell down, as the armor was being trampled by many large stones, as Naruto cried out in pain as those bugs was eating him from the inside. "Kurama," Naruto said painfully. "Naruto, there are too many. I can either maintain our transformation or divert all energy to these bugs." Naruto screamed in pain as he could feel they were coming towards his chest, going towards his heart. Team 2, launch the explosive, Shino said, as the Kumo Jinjulkis watched as explosive after explosive rained down. It didn't matter how strong the Biju was, all of them combined, and after what Shino did, they were bringing him down. As Shino then turned towards the two Biju, he didn't even flinch, even though he was just a mere finger compared to those two monsters. Yujito-san, B-san, lend us your assistance, I have a plan. Wasn't the order for retreat just given? Asked Yujito, as her wound was not healed completely after all. Once a foe is before you, the Anvu always fight, no matter if we lose our legs or our arms or our life. It doesn't matter, Konoha unleashed him on the world, now it is our responsibility to put him down. Naruto was my friend once, but now he has to be stopped, Shino said. This was the only way to take him down now. Even though they literally stabbed him from behind, this had to be the way. Even though he was like them at Jinjulki, the Emperor was too powerful to live. He was a living destruction. He cannot live. If the world is going to return back to normal, they have to stop him now. Shino quickly explained his plans to them, as they gave a hesitant nod. But they still have to do it. If it means victory, they have to do it. The Hakubi quickly jumped into the fight as the Anvu forces continued to distract the surrounding fox, ink spilling as he drenched the fox completely with ink. Not a second later, Shino directed one of his teams as they jumped forward as they finished their hand signs. Phoenix Sage Fire Technique, they all said. Hundreds of fireballs connected with the ink as half of the fox's body went up in flames as his screams almost made the Anvus deaf. Naruto, I have tried to stop you peacefully before, but you killed Kiba and Tenten. I won't ask for your forgiveness. We are friends after all, Shino said sadly. The Nibi slammed right in the fox that sent it crashing once again. A heavily breathing, injuredly Naruto looked over as hatred built up in his heart. You've betrayed me, Shino, he yelled furiously. No, my friend, it is a world that has betrayed you. Your suffering will be over soon. Don't worry. Shino then saw a bloodthirsty look come in Naruto's eyes. So that's your answer, Shino. As silence went through the area before the ground started to shake, Shino then quickly jumped away as he knew his friend, destructive power. Soldiers, fall back! No sooner had he said those words, Naruto slammed both of his hands together as he yelled on top of his lungs. Would release secret technique, nativity of a world of trees. Hundreds of trees emerged from the ground, grabbing at least 180 Anvu right there, as showers of blood rained down as all of them were brutally massacred. The Hakubi and the Nibi were grabbed as well as they smashed into the ground. The wooden trees pierced their body and was draining their chakra at a rapid pace. My body, Yujito said in pain. To think he was this strong, said Shino. Naruto, you truly are. As the Susanoo faded along with the Mokitan plate, leaving only a smaller version of the fox barely standing. Blood leaked all over his body, but then everyone knew who the real winner of this battle was. At least, it seems like Naruto's winner until Shino closed his eyes as he signaled towards the Hakubi and Nibi. The remaining 20 Anvus and their captain started to run. They were running so fast, it was like the dead god was behind their asses. Suspiciously, Naruto turned towards Kumo Jinjulki to see them grinning. They're really gonna do it, said Kurama in shock. Do what? Said Naruto. As Naruto saw them increasing in size, from experience he thought they were creating a Bichu bomb. The largest one the both of them could form, but Naruto was confused, their mouths were closed, and they were not aiming in his direction. A horrible feeling erupted in his gut. Naruto, stop them! If they blow themselves up, every living soul in a 200 radius will be wiped out from the face of the earth, Kurama said. Naruto made his fox transformation get back on his feet. He had barely recovered from the earlier damage he suffered. He tried to create a Biju bomb to stop them from committing suicide and create a massive explosion, as he then coughed up blood violently as a half Biju bomb that he formed vanished. The Hakubi and Nibi reached their biggest size as their bellies stretched to the limits, as the Biju bomb was growing inside of them, as they gave him sad smiles. as he knew they were going to do it. Kurama was shocked when Naruto ran straight towards them in the fox transformation. "What are you doing?" Kurama asked. "Doing the right thing," Naruto said. As Kurama understood what Naruto meant, as Naruto jumped on top of them, as he let his cloak cover them completely. "Naruto, you," said Kurama. "I promised my people that I would bring them home safe. And I intend to keep my promise this time," said Naruto with a smile on his lips. A lone tear slipped from Kurama's eyes as he felt an intense heat coming from beneath them. As the light, a blinding light surrounded them. "I'm glad I got to know you, Uchiha Naruto." "Likewise, my friend," said Naruto, as Naruto's entire life flashed in front of his eyes. "You're my son," said Kakashi. "I'll always have your back, kid. The flame of you burned brightly inside of you." "We're brothers," Sasuke said, "and I will slaughter everyone that raise a hand towards you and the Reich. I have always loved you, Naruto, and always will. You're an incredible person, my love, and I shall always be with you." As he smiled, the memories of Tsunade, Kakashi, Lee, Sasuke, Kunai, Haku, as everything that has happened so far. "Everyone, I leave the rest to you," he said. Nova. Kunai and her entire group was blown away by a massive explosion as the earth cracked. Even its clouds in the skies were blown away. An unending rain of fire, guts, blood fell down from the skies. Her lips trembled. Her legs lost all of her strength as she collapsed on the ground. Tears leaked from her eyes. "Naruto!" she cried out. Dark clouds covered the sky as heavy rain started to fall down slowly. Kakashi quickly grabbed Haku as she fell down on her knees. They had just finished exterminating the enemy forces when the biggest explosion they saw happened. As Haku was holding on to her belly, as she heard one of the enemy radios, as Shino's voice spoke over it. "The Emperor has been killed. Mission complete." With Naruto, he didn't know where exactly he was as he saw an endless ocean in front of him, as he was standing on sand, as a cool breeze brushed through his hair, as he didn't know which god bring him to this place, but this place was wonderful. Right now he was the Emperor or Envoy Captain. He was the warrior, he wasn't anything, he had no responsibilities. He was just Naruto, and he was free. A part of him did worry about the people he left behind, especially his wife. But he knew he made the right decision when he made his last stand. He had protected the people that were close in his heart. He had protected them, giving his life to save all of them. The people closest to his heart. Maybe he was selfish, but he was relaxing for the first time in his life. His only regret would be failing to grant Haku's wish of having a child one day. But maybe this was for the best, because God knows he would be a terrible father. As he thought about it, if he was a father, he would have never done that. He would have never sacrificed himself knowing that he had a child waiting for him back home. For anything, even for the Reich, he would have never sacrificed himself for his child. To be all alone, he would have never left his child, no matter what. Well, no use thinking about what ifs, Naruto thought. Quite a view, isn't it? As Naruto spun around to look who just spoke to him. He then started to laugh, as he broke out in laughter, as he looked in the sky and laughed, but there was no humor in his voice. "If this is your idea of karma, I would say you're even more messed up than me," Naruto said to the sky. As he didn't even react when the two of them came and sat beside him, each of them on a different side. "Perhaps I'm in hell." "You're early, son," said Minato, as he saw his wife stealing glances towards their grown-up son. If not for his smooth, long blonde hair, Naruto would have looked like a shadow clone of his father. Both of them were struggling with themselves to not just reach out and hug the life out of him, to feel that he was real and this was not one of their countless imaginations. They tried to get over the years to imagine themselves with their son. Well, the tickets for the underworld were short, but I managed to book an early ride, as that made Minato want to laugh. "He's definitely your son, Kushina," Minato thought, as he saw tears welling up in Kushina's eyes. As Naruto did not look at any of them, he simply stared at the ocean, as that hurt them. "So, who's it gonna be, you or the silent mover right here?" Naruto said, just turned towards Kushina, as his tone was flat and sharp, like a blade. "What are you talking about, son?" asked Minato. I'm really not in the mood. If you're going to torture me, then make up your minds and get it over with. As Minato sighed, his wife had held on to hope, but he knew how this meeting was going to be. You really think that low of us? How could you think that we will torture you? Son, said Kushina. As Minato saw Naruto clench his fists, as he could see the sea of anger bubbling inside his son. You've already done it once before. It wouldn't surprise me if you tried to do it again, Kushina, Naruto said. As Naruto saw the pain in her eyes when he said that, the disbelief, the shock, and, in some twisted way, it satisfied him. It's painful, isn't it? To have someone deny your existence. It hurt deeper than any wound. It tears you apart. And this pain never goes away, Naruto said. He sighed, and seeing the state that they were in, it was actually pitiful, seeing that he was waiting for this moment all of his life. How he would scream, cry, resort to violent ways. But seeing the state they were in, it was just sad. Perhaps this was no use torturing someone after death. After all of the baggage was left behind. You're too soft. As he smiled, hearing Sasuke torture him. For a trait that he had, he was too soft after all. A trait that got him killed in the first place. But this trait was a part of what made up Uchiha Naruto. And there was no use shrugging it off. You can relax, yawned Dame. I'm not gonna grant you mercy by hitting you. And it would be too easy, and besides, I don't hate my elders, Naruto said. As he got up and started to walk away. Naruto, please, just talk to me one last time, Kushina said in a tearing tone. As Naruto closed his eyes, she had power over him same way. Even though, after leaving him behind, after everything, she was still his mother. But he turned his head. Love and forgiveness cannot be bought by mere words, Kushina. For your sake, I hope you are not this delusional when you were alive. Each of us have to live with the consequences of our actions, just like how I cannot receive forgiveness from the people life that I have ruined. You also cannot expect forgiveness from me. Even my mercy have limits. Even though he was saying them, he didn't believe in the words that he was saying. They were painful to come out. Kushina wanted to say something else, but Minato spoke. The child is the father of the man, said Minato as a smile appeared on his lips. And a smile appeared on Naruto's lips as well. Huh, what do you know? The old man is smarter than he looks. It was actually scary how the both of them were alike. As Kushina was shocked how things was going on, she imagined Naruto getting along well with her. But it seemed like he was more of a father's son than his mother. Even if there was pain in his eyes, she saw the both of them sharing an understanding look between each other. It made her happy and jealous at the same time. If this was not enough to rattle her, Minato's next move teared the girl away from her feet. As Minato got to his feet and walked towards Naruto, who didn't move a muscle. As Minato grabbed him and pulled him into a tight hug. I understand. That is what Minato said to his son. Naruto couldn't believe that this was happening. Here was the man that he resented most in the world, even more than Danzo, and yet this person understood him? Better than Kushina, better than Kakashi, better than Tsunade, better than Haku, better than Kunai and every person in his life? He didn't ask for forgiveness because there was none to receive. And he didn't even think that he deserved it. He didn't argue or curse against Naruto for destroying Konoha. Instead, it was just 2 words. He understand. As Kushina watched Naruto raise his hands, as he hugged his father back, tears were falling from his eyes as he embraced the man tightly. I missed you, Dad, Naruto said, as tears started to leak from his eyes. As Minato rubbed his back, I miss you too, son. I am not sorry for what I did, but I am proud of the man you became. All I want is for my son to be the peacemaker that brings peace to this war-torrent world. And you did that. You overcame all the odds, never give up, despite the life that you lived. No father could have a better son than you, said Minato proudly, as Naruto smiled as he felt the sincerities behind those words. Being an emperor made him finally understand the burden of leadership. The fact that he just gave his life to protect his people made him realize the choice that Minato had to make back then. As a leader, he understood the man. Maybe Naruto could not do the same thing to his son, or maybe he could, if the circumstances forced him to. But he was no longer that naive, teenage, Son Kage, who saw the world in black and white because there was another color, grey. A place where nothing was right or nothing was wrong. Neither of them had a right to judge each other, or they would be hypocrites. All the emotional baggage he carried was falling off of him, and that made him smile. Life was too strong for grudges, and still he showed mercy to the stray dogs at Konoha who treat him like trash. There were many among his supporters who consider his move as foolish, to just wipe them out and get it over with. But he still didn't kill them all. As he broke away from the hug, as both of them share a nod, as he turned towards a trembling redhead, who witnessed the entire scene with tears falling from her eyes. "Do you need a special invitation, you miserable woman?" Naruto said, but there was no anger in his voice. As he frowned when she lay still as a rock, he simply raised his arms, as she realized what he meant, as she dived straight into his arms, hugging him tight. As Minato was surprised, she slammed into him so hard, he thought that Naruto was going to fall to the ground, but he held his ground strong. As Naruto felt a little embarrassed as his mother laid kisses all over his face to make up for all the years they have been apart. "I'm really sorry, Sachi, for everything I put you through. I don't deserve to be your mother, but I always loved you. Naruto, you're my child, and I will love you to the end of time, even if you hate me. I wish I could take back everything. I'm so..." But she stopped as he lay a soft kiss on her forehead. "It's okay. I forgive you, Mom," Naruto said, as she cried in his arms. Well, if death was this beautiful, then he didn't mind dying at all. "I'm home, Mother," he said. Meanwhile, Toby watched. Below him was White Zetsu as they were mopping up the barely breathing forms of Uchito and B. A smile came on his face as he captured Kumo's Jinjulkis as well, and with no effort on his part. His eyes shifted towards the corpse of Naruto. The boy was a mess of blood and guts spilled all over. His entire body was barely kept in one piece due to the small wooden casket that he's been frozen into. "Is he dead?" Black Zetsu asked nervously, making Toby laugh. By all means he should be. The boy was definitely suicidal when he made that move. "Still, he surprised me a lot," Toby said. The boy was a naive fool, but he was not a pushover either. "You saved his life, didn't you?" asked White Zetsu. Toby merely walked towards a boy who was currently hanging between life and death. It would be so easy to silence him right now, but he couldn't do that. "He may be an idiot, but I have a use for him. That uselessness has yet to end. I will take his life back when that is over." "I sense people coming," said White Zetsu. "Take the Haxabi and the Navy to our secret base. We will seal them," Toby said. "What about the Kyuubi? We can just take him with us. He's not in any position to resist," said Black Zetsu. "No," Toby said. "Right now it's better if we stay out of the ears of the cross side, as the Empire is currently out for blood, and the Akatsuki will not be involved within this. When the time is right, we will take both of them down. I doubt Naruto will ever wake up from his sleep. Besides, I already have a plan in case he dies," Toby said. "If you say so," said White Zetsu, as his clones took away the bodies. "How long before we're ready for war?" Zetsu asked Toby seriously. "Just a few more months. With Yamato's help, our work has been greatly reduced, and we're ahead of our deadline." "You made a smart move by capturing him all those years ago," Black Zetsu said. As Toby nodded, "The war will become more deadly now. Let them fight and weaken each other. When this is all over, it will be our time to strike." "I am surprised neither side realized it till now," said Black Zetsu. "And what might that be, Zetsu?" asked Toby. "With the exception of Kurenai, the rest of the leaders of the resistance are your pawns, waging a war under your orders." And in the darkness of that night, a pair of deadly Mangekyo Sharingans came to life. But guys, be in this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And yeah, for now, I'm out. See you tomorrow. Peace.